we'll start with gold.
Gold.
Because actually, in the inflation-adjusted chart I've been talking about, this is the 2011 highs for purchasing power. So this is gold / M2SL. So you're essentially taking the price of gold and you're actually doing an equation with the money stock of M2. So it's not just taking it's not just doing the price in US dollars, which is $4,000. This is taking into account inflation. So M2 money supply. So you can see, Legends, that we already have had, I think it's around a 9% move off the high, actually. In terms of inflation adjusted, let's actually look at the actual gold price itself in terms of the actual percent move we've got. We're looking at a 9.6% move down already from when I was saying I do think gold will actually see itself. Well, let's just see some resistance. Doesn't have to be the top necessarily. I think gold, in terms of purchasing power, will come back down to probably levels below, a lot below 2011. Because in 2011 was the top of a raging bull market. You can see right here. This is the price of gold. This was the 2011 high, the top of a massive bull market for the price of gold. But what I'm saying, I don't think gold will actually end up resulting in the price coming down to $2,000 again. I don't actually think gold will ever go back to $2,000 per ounce again.
Oh my God! Wow!
I think gold will much more likely do something like this, where it arcs out, very similar to the 2011 bear market, or you could call it the sideways range. Actually, it ended up doing a cup and handle and breaking out anyway. So you could even say it was a cyclical bear trend within even a longer term bull market. The terms bull market, cyclical bear trend, bull market. But anyway, I don't think gold's going to come back to $2,000 just because we have more circulating supply US dollars in the system. It's very similar, like saying, you know, you're not going to get paid by your job £1 a week like you did in the 1800s. I think gold will actually have some sort of sideways, if not slightly down formation for probably when it actually tops out. It might take between 1 and maybe even up to 10 years. But I would say, because you got to remember, guys, from 2011, gold only broke out really until around 2023. So you're looking at, yeah, over 10 years of sideways, if not down, flat. So it could be another 10 years for gold to go sideways and down. I would just say this, though, because of the expansion of the currency supply, or the US dollar circulating supply, is growing so rapidly, what we might see is the sideways and down being slightly less long in time. If you look at the amount of M2 money stock, the M0, M1, M2, M3, M4, the rate of quantitative easing is extremely high in comparison to any other point in history. Look, what I'm trying to say is that the purchasing power of gold is at the same as what it was in 2011. I think the purchasing power will come down. I don't think we're going to go to 1971 levels. Let me just let this chart load. It always takes a while, this chart, to load for some reason. But this is the 1980, actually, exactly 1980. 1979, 1980, this was the highest point of purchasing power and kind of recorded our, let's just say, contemporary recent history. But I don't think gold's going to go that high. Because this was essentially a shock from coming off the gold standard in 1971. The purchasing power now is around 2011. So I do think the purchasing power will come down, but the price will not, guys. And because we know that the price of something and the value are two different things. The quote from Oscar Wilde, which is, "A fool knows the price of everything and the value of nothing," is literally it couldn't be more valid at this point in our society, if not the globe. The amount of people who just look at price, they know the price of everything, but they actually don't understand the correlation between value and price. I would say that 99% of people don't understand the difference between those two things. So that quote, "A fool knows the price of everything, the value of nothing," couldn't be any more significant at this point in time. And it's just, this is what, gold going up in price like this, because you're seeing it with all those people queuing out. They're queuing outside gold bullion dealers to purchase more gold. Everyone thinks it's a good time to get in.
Yeah, boy.
But they don't realize that actually they're buying the top of purchasing power. It's the same with the stock market. Everyone looks at the stock market. If you go onto SPX here, right now, most people will call, "Oh, it can't go any higher. It's doomsday. How can these recorded all-time new highs the whole time? There must be some sort of massive doomsday 1920s style depression coming." Legends, this is not how it operates. The stock market is going up in price, but it probably hasn't increased in value this year yet. Still, it's still not above 8% inflation. So I'd say that the stock market, just because it's going up in price, it doesn't mean it's getting any more valuable. It doesn't mean all the stocks and shares and indices and everything. It doesn't mean all the companies within the stock market are all just getting better and better at what they do. It might look like that. That's the funny thing. It might look like that. Everyone just thinks everything's getting better. But the association between things going up in price and that thing being better is detached now. There's no correlation between the two things. Just because your stock price goes up doesn't necessarily mean the company's getting any better. It's just that there's a similar amount of stock in the economy, but there's more dollars bidding on the same amount of stock. So it's a bidding war. And if there's more dollars bidding on the same amount of stock, that means the price must rise for it to stay at the same value, but the price goes up.